on cleaning my tack. Now, the running joke is that I don't clean my tack, which is probably true when it comes to my bridles, but when it comes to my saddle, I definitely do, because I love my saddles and they need looking after. So, I've got my bridle to do. This is Ed's new saddle, so I've not actually used it that many times, but it just does need a wipe over. And then in this box is Ed's old saddle, which does need to go back to Devoucoux, so I'm going to give that a clean as well. So Ed's saddle is a Devoucoux Ciabatta. I got it, I think 2 months ago now. His old saddle was a very, very old Devoucoux saddle. That was my first Devoucoux saddle for him. And then before that, he just had a, I can't remember what saddle he had, but it wasn't a jump saddle, it was just a general purpose all round. Reason being is that when we first got him, we knew, because he was so skinny and he had no muscle at all, we knew that he'd changed shape quite a bit, so there was no point in getting him a really nice saddle because he'd just grow out of it really quickly. And I think for the first 4 months I didn't even get him a saddle. I borrowed one until he put a bit of weight on, and then we got him his own. So this saddle I got not last Christmas, the Christmas before. A nice fancy Devoucoux saddle, although it is really old. At the time it was the only one that would really fit him, and then he's changed shape even more, so this one didn't fit in too well, so I got a brand new one made just for him, which was super excited because, as you will see, it's super fancy. I love these saddles. I've got one for Sansa. I've also got a Devoucoux dressage saddle for Sansa. I've had one, I think my first Devoucoux was for Hank, my Connie pony, and ever since then I find it really hard to ride in anything else, because these have got really good blocks on the front and blocks at the back, so they hold you in the right places, especially for jumping. So on Sansa's saddle, this line here is blue on Sansa's, and I got that because my cross-country colours are blue. But with Ed's saddle, I was going to get a colour, but then I changed my mind because I do work in Hunter on him. I didn't want a colour on my saddle, so it's just the Devoucoux green. So it is brown. I love brown tack, especially for jumping. My dressage saddle for Sansa is black, but I just find brown really smart, especially for jumping and eventing. I've also got a brown bridle. This bridle is so dirty, which is probably a good reason that I'm cleaning it. It's horrific. But these are the Shire Avignon bridles, and the reason that I love this bridle is it is really light brown, and when it came it was even lighter. And I think with Ed, because he's chestnut, it really suits him, and you'll see when I get my old saddle out, my old saddle is really light brown as well, and it matched it perfectly. So now this one is a bit darker, they don't match as well, but I still really like the tack on Ed. I've got this bridle for Sansa as well, same colour, and they've both got the martingales, and then also Billy has got the dark brown version of this martingale. They're really nice martingales. This is the older version, but Billy's and Sansa's have got elastic on as well, which I really like. But they're just really smart. All the stitching as well is white stitching and detail. I'll show you close-ups after, but I just find it really smart. Love them. So I've got some warm water, and I've got a sponge here, sponge, and then, so when I got my saddle, I got a little Devoucoux bag, which inside, oh, I've got a sponge in there as well. Has got the leather soap, also the leather balm for after you've cleaned it, and then a really nice soft mitt for the balm when you put it on. I've given the saddle a clean with the soap. I'm going to leave that to dry, and then once it's dry, what I'll do is I'll put the leather balm on. So I'll clean my other saddle now. So now you'll see, this is my old saddle. So this is the one that I got last Christmas for Ed. This was my first Devoucoux for Ed. And it is very light brown. I really do love this colour because if you see, the bridle matches it perfectly. So when I first got this saddle, I got this bridle afterwards, and that's why I got it, is because it matched it and I loved it. So this is a little bit mucky, so I'll give this a clean so I don't send Devoucoux back a horrifically dirty saddle and they think I'm a tramp. I am going to miss this saddle because it is quite old. It's obviously got some of the like really original detailing on it. So this stamp here, yeah, I love that detail on it. Saddle cover that came with this is a waterproof material. So with those saddle covers you couldn't ride in those, but with these ones now you can actually ride in these ones, which is super handy if it's raining, especially if I go on a hack. And I don't really like riding with saddle covers on because I just feel you get in the way, but for hacking I don't really mind, and if it's raining they're really handy because they are waterproof. And then obviously for riding on, you've got these little flaps here that you can put your stirrups through, and then there's like a little suede material so that your leathers don't rub on there, and then also a little gap to put your girth straps through at the bottom. So these were really comfy. Okay, so now the saddle's dried off, what I'm going to do is take the leather bar and the mitt and just run it all over. So now I've got a nice shiny saddle. The same definitely can't be said about my bridle, which is filthy, and my stirrup leathers. So I'm going to do those now. So I'm going to take my stirrups off the leathers, put them in the bucket of water. Same with my bit, put that in the bucket of water. And what I'm also going to do is going to completely strip clean the bridle. So I'm going to take it all apart, which can be a faff to put back together, but it's the best way to clean every single bit, seeing as it's not had a proper clean in a while. So a few things I would say about this tack that I've just thought about while I was cleaning it is the sizing of it actually comes up quite big. Now Ed's obviously 14.2 and I wouldn't say he's particularly small. Obviously it was when I got him, but now he isn't. His neck's quite chunky, and you wouldn't expect him to be able to fit in pony tacks. Martingale is pony size, and when I got it I didn't really expect it to fit him, but it was the only size that they had, but when I got it it did, so that was great. I thought I would have to send it back. And another thing is, in my defence, the reason that I didn't clean this bridle so much is because when you do clean it, it goes a lot darker. So when I had that lighter saddle, I obviously didn't want it to go darker, so I'll just show you. So I'll just clean this bit, and then this is the unclean. As you can see, it goes a lot darker when you clean it. Now, it will dry a little bit lighter than that, but still, every time that I've cleaned it, it's got a little bit darker. So that is also one of the reasons that I didn't clean it. All the bits of the bridle now. I've cleaned the bit, took that out and give it a scrub. I've got martingale there. That's the girth, don't look at that, I've not done that yet. So what I've done is I've just gone over it with water and the leather soap. I'll let it dry as I'm putting it back together, and then I'll go over it with the leather balm as well and the glove. Now, one thing that I think a few people struggle with is putting the bridle back together, because as you can see at the minute we've just got parts. So there's a rein, headpiece, brow band. So now the easiest way I find to do it is lay it all out as if it looks in the right place to put it all together and go from there. So that's what I'm going to do now. Up at the top, one thing I do like about this headpiece is that it's nice and padded. So for horses that are a little bit fussy like Ed, I quite like it in that sense. So as you can see, I've laid out all of the different bits of the bridle in the places that they should go. So that should make it now a little bit easier to put together. So I always start with the headpiece, that's the easiest bit. And then the brow band. Now some brow bands have a specific way that they need to go on. So some of them have a bit of a curve in them, but this one doesn't, it's just a straight one. So first thing as well is figure out which way your headpiece goes, because you don't want it back to front. So your long strap, that's your throat lash, that obviously needs to go at the back. And with this one as well, it's got little cut out bits where the ears go, so I know that's the front. Put the noseband on. Now this noseband's quite good because it's got a buckle on each side. Now with some of the nosebands it will have one long strap and then a shorter one. So what you would do with that is put the long one up and through the brow band, across the headpiece and down again through the brow band, and then attach it on the other side. But with this one we've got a strap for each. Pieces on. So as well with the bit, so I ride Ed, this is a Myla loose ring snaffle. It's got a little link in the middle. So most snaffles, unless you ride in a straight bar, will have a curve in. So the curve faces forward. So some fastenings have either these little billets or they'll have buckles. Now, as you can see, buckles, so these go to the outside all the time, whereas if you've got billets, like with this bridle, that's how the bits attach to the cheek pieces, and that's also how the reins are attached. Billets face to the inside. But I've left everything out of the keepers because what I'm going to do now is just give it all a quick wipe over with the leather balm. The only thing is with this bridle as well is when you clean it, it looks really patchy, but I think it just takes for everything to dry off and then it looks a lot better. Tangled. There we go, okay. So another thing as well is how I keep my bridles hung up is I'll put everything through the throat lash. So I put the reins and the martingale that goes around the neck through the throat lash, but I always also put the martingale bit that goes through the girth through the throat lash. Do the throat lash back up, and then everything's all nice and tidy. And then I'll just go around and put everything back in the keepers again. Done. Okay, so the last thing I've got to clean is my girth. Now this is from Devoucoux as well. I got it when I bought my new saddle. Santa's got this exact same girth as well. And the really nice thing is it's got like a neoprene lining on it. So what you can do is to wash them, because this bit is also leather. How do I do it? I can't remember how you do it now. So what I can do with this now is wash this, and I'm going to wash it in a bucket of warm water, but I just find it really handy that you can actually take this off, because this can get really sweaty, so if you couldn't take it off, it makes it a little bit more difficult to wash, but now you can. That can go in the water. And then with this leather bit now, is I can just clean the mud off. Look at that, the water. That is yummy. And then we're done. Nice clean saddle, nice clean bridle, and then we've got the other saddle all clean, ready to go back to Devoucoux, and then I've got my girth drying on the wall. So yeah, any questions, just ask me in the comments.